And Mark, let me begin with you. I think we've seen a version, and John Carl hinted at a version of this story about 5 or 6 times over the last 20 years. Generally, at the beginning, the Clintons underreact. They hunker down. Their critics and the media overreact. Is it different this time? Will it make any difference?
I said a few weeks ago on this show that I thought she was easily the most likely president of the United States. I now think not only is she, because of this as a symptom and a cause, I now think she's not only not easily the most likely, I don't think she's any more the most likely. This is the...
It's a big shift.
Yeah, it's a big shift. Because of what this says as a symptom, not as a cause, as a symptom. What she is doing here in terms of lack of response, lack of a sense of what people think of her, and combined with what I thought was an extraordinarily weak performance at her Emily's List speech the other day. Her husband can get through these things because he's a politician of a lifetime. She cannot. If this is the way she's going to run her operation, if this is the mindset she's going to have, I don't think she's going to be president.
Nicole Wallace, seemingly on every show on television, and probably this one tomorrow night for all we know. Anyway, Nicole aside, that was Mark Halperin yesterday on ABC's This Week, having a slight change of heart, big change of heart, regarding Hillary Clinton's chances to be our next president. Welcome back to the show. I'm Joe Concha, along with Rick Unger, Heather Hansen, and Bill Tucker. Pressure continues to build at Camp Hillary over her use of a private email account for State Department business. This issue is also costing her politically. A new McClatchy-Marist poll finding that for the first time, Mrs. Clinton has slipped below 50% in one-on-one matchups against possible Republican nominees. So joining us now via Skype is former Clinton counsel Lanny Davis. Oh, on the phone, excuse me? That's right, because so much clearer this way. That's true. Lanny, thanks so much. You look great in the picture that we have up of you, by the way, so this is working out well. So let me start off. You know, Democrats are getting awfully nervous about Mrs. Clinton's silence regarding the emails. Do you think this is the right strategy for her moving forward?
Well, first of all, which Democrats? There's a pretty small circle that you're talking to. The larger circle can't figure out why there's any scandal when she did nothing illegal. There's no intent to hide. Everything is accessible, and she's turned over everything and offered to publish everything. So there's a small circle that during Whitewater was all breathless. Oh, my God, this is terrible. And guess what? A big zero. And we're only going to know whether I'm right or John Halperin, who I love, is right about 6 months from 9 months, 12 months from now. But certainly all this overheated media isn't going to really tell us anything.
Lanny, why do you think she set up a private email account in this situation? I mean, knowing that she's going to run for president, knowing that that information will probably get out. She's a very intelligent person. You don't become Secretary of State and a senator by. I'm just so surprised that she even went down this road, knowing that it would lead to these sort of questions.
So I'm a crisis manager. If I'd been asked, I would have said, "Gosh, what's wrong with this? Since you're going to have to reveal everything and turn everything over and make a distinction between private and business." But when you end up turning it over, you might as well tell everyone. So you can second guess and do the wisdom of hindsight. But I honestly don't think there's any deal here, and most American people, I think, will agree. But I do really wonder, and of course she's Secretary of State and Jeb Bush is governor, I know all that. But why would you ask Jeb Bush in 8 years as governor, why did you set up a private email account and your own server in 8 years of governor, and you didn't tell anyone other than the fact that you sent emails all over the way Hillary Clinton did, and everybody who received the emails knew? And the answer is about the same. Convenience. Why should I carry 2 BlackBerries with me if I'm governor of Florida for 8 years? Why should I carry 2 BlackBerries with me when I'm going to have to make the distinction at some point? I don't think either one would have foreseen this level of political controversy, but I really do think there's a double standard that you haven't asked that question of Governor Bush.
So Lanny, it's Rick. You know, we're going to set aside the Bush, the Powell, the this, the that, because if they're all wrong, they're all wrong. If they're all right, they're all right.
They're all right. I don't think they're wrong.
Fine.
So don't get me
but
wrong.
here's I want to get into the politics of it. As you know, I am very well versed in the book of Lanny Davis when it comes to do crisis management, right? Why do you imagine Hillary has taken so long to respond to it? Now, we're hearing there may be a press conference this week, but the Lanny Davis I know would never have let her go this far without addressing this head on.
So let's examine, first of all, I appreciate your comments, and I am a believer in getting ahead of a story. Tell it early, tell it all, tell yourself, my mantra. So thank you for making my point. I hope more people buy my book. But look, Rick, in the age that we're in, 2 weeks, that's what we're talking about, leads somebody really intelligent and insightful like Rick Unger asked me, why did it take her so long? 2 weeks. Now, we could second guess when you turn them over in December of 14, when the law required you to, now that the law has changed, a fact omitted by the New York Times.
Yeah.
Let's get to that later, maybe. Would she have been better off as a crisis manager when she realized the law has changed, now I have to turn everything over, and I've made distinctions between business and personal, and people are going to question those? Would I have advised her to get out in front and explain everything? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But honestly, at the time, Rick, if I had asked you, do you think this is a big deal? It's legal. Everyone's going to know. She can't delete anything in today's age. There's nothing deletable.
I think we both would have answered it as a big deal.
I would have seen it coming. I really don't think I would have seen it coming.
Lanny, this is Heather Hansen. When you talk about she could have deleted it, yesterday you told Chris Wallace that you thought it was a reasonable idea to have a neutral third party go ahead and look at those emails to make sure that she's actually given everything that's relevant. Do you have this?
Actually, I have to interrupt you. I never said that. It has been said that I said that, but I said that if the State Department asks to see more, and the State Department is a reasonable third party as far as I'm concerned, then of course she's going to have to cooperate. If she gets a subpoena,
right. So
she's going to. But I didn't recommend that she bring in a neutral third party to do that. I think that's been a distortion of what I said.
But you definitely said that it was a reasonable idea. You did then add the qualifiers if the State Department asks or if she receives a subpoena.
Thank you.
Do you also?
Well, you didn't say my qualifier in your question, so I had to add that. That is true. If the State Department asks, it's reasonable that if they want to see whether she inadvertently left some business behind, that she would allow that. She has to allow
Sir,
that.
do you also agree that it was a reasonable idea that they could actually be allowed to look at the server as opposed to just the 55,000 pages of emails that she turned over?
If that's what the State Department asked for, to verify that she didn't leave anything that was official business, so she's complying with the law, sure. And I hope you will say the same thing to Jeb Bush about 250,000 released, 2,750,000 not released, yet he takes a press announcement about transparency, and where is the same standard? I think Jeb Bush did nothing wrong. I think Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong. At least I have a single standard. I haven't heard you ask any of these questions of Jeb Bush.
Hey, Lanny, we'll have to end it there. We thank you for joining us via phone. Maybe come to the studio soon. We'd love to have you on, and go buy Lanny's book, obviously.
There's many books.
Many books, yes. Coming up next, which news network do you trust? This is The Daily Wrap, and it's only on Newsmax TV.